Welcome to Whitechapel, a realm far beyond the notorious tales of Jack the Ripper. In this episode of Beyond the Fringe, we unearth the district's hidden specters and unexplained enigmas. Venture with us into the Ten Bells pub, haunted by a barmaid whose life ended in a tragic act of jealousy. Beware the phantom coach on Commercial Street, driven by a headless coachman, forever bound to repeat his grim journey. Discover the chilling story of a Valence roadhouse, once tormented by a malevolent poltergeist that drove its inhabitants away. And uncover the dark legacy of a cursed painting from Brick Lane, an artwork so sinister that it inflicted nightmares and death upon those who dared to look. Join us as we reveal the eerie, unseen side of Whitechapel, where every shadow whispers a story, and the past never truly rests. In the heart of London's East End, amidst the labyrinth of narrow streets and fading echoes of history, stands the Ten Bells pub, a place steeped in tales as rich as the ale it serves. But among these tales, one chilling story refuses to be silenced, a tale that whispers from the creaking floorboards and lingers in the dim corners of the pub. This is the story of a ghost, a specter born from a tale of jealousy and tragedy, the ghost of a barmaid who once graced the Ten Bells with her presence, only to meet a fate as sorrowful as it was unexpected. Picture her, a young woman in the prime of her life, with a laugh as bright as the gaslight lamps that lit the pub's interior. She moved with grace between the tables, her smile a familiar comfort to the regulars. Little did she know, her charm and beauty would become the very catalyst of her doom. Her husband, a man consumed by a corrosive jealousy, watched from the shadows, his mind poisoned with unfounded suspicions. The green-eyed monster, as Shakespeare aptly named it, took hold, warping his love into a dangerous obsession. One fateful night, it reached its tragic crescendo. In a fit of rage, driven by misguided jealousy, he confronted her. The argument escalated. Words turned to actions, and in a moment of unbridled fury, he robbed her of her life, leaving her spirit to wander the very place she once filled with joy. Now, they say, her ghost haunts the Ten Bells. Patrons speak of a cold breeze brushing past them, though no windows are open. Glasses inexplicably shatter, as if clinking in a toast with the unseen. Some have even seen a fleeting figure, a woman in Victorian garb, her eyes brimming with unshed tears, her form dissolving into the air as quickly as she appears. But her presence is more than just sightings. It's a feeling, a lingering sadness that permeates the very walls of the pub. It's in the soft, sorrowful lullabies that seem to drift from the upper floors late at night, a mournful melody of a life unjustly taken. Even the most skeptical of visitors find themselves glancing over their shoulders, drawn into the story of the tragic barmaid, feeling an inexplicable chill down their spine. And what of the husband, you ask? Legend says he vanished into the night, tormented by guilt and haunted by the ghost of his deed. Some whisper that his specter too roams the streets of Whitechapel, eternally searching for forgiveness that will never come. So, step into the Ten Bells, order a pint, and immerse yourself in its history. But be warned, for you may just feel the brush of a ghostly presence, the barmaid still tending to her duties. Her story etched into the very essence of the pub. Her tale is a spectral tapestry woven into the fabric of Whitechapel, a haunting reminder of love turned lethal. As we continue our eerie journey through the haunting corridors of Whitechapel's history, our path takes us to the mysterious and chilling spectacle that unfolds on Commercial Street. Once the sun sets and the hustle of daily life fades into the quiet of night, this seemingly ordinary street transforms into a realm of spectral phenomena, setting the stage for one of the area's most enigmatic and spine-chilling legends, the Phantom Coach of Whitechapel. In this otherworldly hour, an unsettling silence blankets Commercial Street. It's during these haunting moments at midnight that the ghostly coach emerges from the folds of time, a ghastly relic appearing as if from nowhere. Eyewitnesses, those few who have braved the night, recount an unnerving calm, a mist that seems to emanate from the ground itself, followed by the distinct sound of horse hooves and carriage wheels clattering against the cobblestones, yet no living horses are ever seen. This coach is a spectral vision from a time long forgotten, ornate in its craftsmanship, yet carrying an air of profound sorrow. Its driver is a sight to behold and fear. A headless coachman, draped in tattered garments from centuries past, his hands eternally bound to the reins of his phantom steeds. This macabre spectacle is enough to chill the bones of even the most skeptical observer. But it's the coach's dreadful cargo that truly haunts the soul. The body of a woman, cruelly decapitated by her lover in a twisted act of passion and fury. The tale of this woman, once a figure of elegance and charm, ends in a gruesome tragedy, betrayed by the one she held dear. Her severed head, missing from the scene, leaves her spirit in a perpetual search for it in the realms beyond. The coach, as legend has it, is her chariot of eternal sorrow, traversing the streets of Whitechapel in a never-ending nocturnal voyage. Witnesses to this ghostly carriage have reported hearing the woman's mournful cries, a sound that pierces the night with its despairing resonance. Her spectral figure, visible within the confines of the coach, reaches out in a silent plea for understanding, for peace, for justice. Yet each encounter with this phantom coach is shrouded in mystery, with varying accounts and elusive details. Some claim the coach vanishes abruptly as they approach, while others assert it passes through physical barriers as though they were mere illusions. Attempts to capture its image have been fruitless, leaving nothing but empty street scenes in photographs where the coach was alleged to have been. This haunting story, woven into the very fabric of Whitechapel's eerie history, is a stark reminder of the dark side of love and the restlessness of spirits wronged. As our journey through the mysterious and paranormal continues, we invite you to stay with us as we delve further into the chilling lore of Whitechapel. As we journey further into the shadowy heart of Whitechapel, our path leads us to a story that chills the bone. A tale of an unseen terror that lurked within the walls of a seemingly ordinary house on Valence Road. This is not a tale of phantoms from the past, but of a malevolent force that made its presence known in the most unsettling of ways. A poltergeist whose activities terrorized a family to the brink of despair. Imagine, if you will, a quaint house on Valence Road, its exterior unremarkable, blending seamlessly with its neighbors. But within its walls lurked something far from ordinary. The family who called this place home were soon to discover that they were not its only occupants. It began subtly, almost imperceptibly. Objects misplaced, faint noises in the dead of night, an eerie feeling of being watched. The family initially dismissed these occurrences as figments of their imagination, but as days turned into weeks, the activity grew more intense, more sinister. Objects began to move of their own accord, levitating before being hurled across the room with unseen force. The night air was filled with the sounds of banging, clattering, as if the house itself was protesting its inhabitants. But perhaps the most unsettling were the scratches that appeared on the walls, as though some invisible hand was etching its anger into the very fabric of the building. The family, once skeptical, found themselves plunged into a living nightmare. Sleep became elusive as the poltergeist's activities became increasingly malevolent. Plates shattered without cause, furniture moved in the blink of an eye, and the air was often filled with an inexplicable chill that seemed to seep into one's very bones. In desperation, the family sought help. Paranormal investigators visited, armed with equipment and a thirst for the unknown. But even they were unable to quell the spirit's unrest. Mediums attempted to communicate with the entity, only to be met with more intense displays of its power. It seemed as though the poltergeist was feeding off the fear and attention, growing stronger with each passing day. Eventually, the family had no choice but to leave, driven out by the relentless haunting. They left behind not just a house, but a repository of terror and mystery. The house on Valence Road stood empty thereafter, its windows like unblinking eyes, its door a silent mouth. Rumors spread, stories were told, and the house became a local legend, the house that no one dared to inhabit. As years passed, The story of the Valence Road Poltergeist became a chilling chapter in Whitechapel's anthology of the paranormal. The house, a silent sentinel, stood as a testament to the unseen forces that sometimes intersect our world. As we reach the final chapter of our journey through the haunted and hidden crevices of Whitechapel, we turn our gaze to a story that intertwines art with the arcane, a tale of a cursed painting that once resided in the shadows of a brick lane basement. This is not a story of mere superstition, but a chilling account of a canvas that held a malevolent presence, a painting so sinister that its very image was enough to unleash a torrent of nightmares, illness, and even death. The story begins with the discovery of the painting, hidden away in the dusty confines of an old basement on Brick Lane. Its finder, unaware of its dark history, was immediately captivated by its macabre beauty. The painting depicted a scene of hell, not in the metaphorical sense, but a visceral, almost lifelike portrayal of damnation and despair. Twisted figures, landscapes of fire and brimstone, and a sense of overwhelming dread seemed to emanate from the canvas. But the true horror began when the painting was brought into the light. Those who looked upon it reported feeling an immediate sense of uneasy, as if the painting was gazing back into them, peering into their deepest fears. Soon the reports became more disturbing. Nightmares plagued the sleep of those who had seen the painting, vivid and terrifying visions that left them waking in cold sweats. The curse, however, did not stop at mere nightmares. Some who had spent time in its presence began to suffer from unexplained illnesses, their health deteriorating rapidly in the days following their encounter with the painting. Whispers of a jinxed canvas began to circulate, and fear took hold in the hearts of the community. But the most alarming aspect of this tale is the accounts of untimely deaths linked to the painting. Individuals who had viewed or owned the painting were said to have met tragic ends, fueling the legend that the painting was not just cursed but a conduit of death itself. The terror and misery wrought by the painting became so great that it eventually caught the attention of a local priest. Recognizing the danger it posed, he took it upon himself to destroy the accursed canvas. The painting was reportedly burned, the flames consuming the hellish scene as if it were reclaiming a piece of its own. As with all tales of the cursed and the damned, the end is never as simple as it seems. Rumors persist that the malevolent influence of the painting lingers, that its destruction was not the end, but merely a transformation into another form of terror. Some say that the images of the painting still haunt their dreams, a spectral gallery of the damned that refuses to be forgotten. As we conclude our exploration of Whitechapel's chilling tales, we leave you with a reminder that the line between the known and the unknown is often as thin as a brushstroke on canvas. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the shadows of Whitechapel, a journey that has taken us through ghostly apparitions, spectral coaches, malevolent poltergeists, and cursed artworks. If you enjoyed delving into these dark corners of history and folklore with us, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories from Beyond the Fringe. And until next time, stay spooky.